Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, all U.S. Constitution protects all lives matter members out there. Good morning, President Donald J. Trump and our Vice President J.D. Vance. Great job, great job. Job well commended on the firing of the daughter of James Comey. You can basically say it's ending an era of called the DOJ Mafia. Under the Biden-Obama administrations. The DOJ Mafia, which James Comey, Rudolph Giuliani, Loretta Lynch, Valerie Caproni, Mary Jo White, Charlie Rose, Michael Chertoff, Christopher Christie, all were a member of the DOJ Mafia. Even Mr. Barr, Merrick Garland, Eric Holder. What a shame. What a shame. It took Donald Trump to come into the presidency to break down the DOJ Mafia. It took Kash Patel to come and break down the J. Edna era, which has been a long-standing era full of racism and the promotion of anti-Christian values via homosexuality within the ranks of the FBI. J. Edna, which we all know, or the Gen Z generation doesn't know, stands for J. Edgar Hoover, the dress-wearing head of the FBI during the McCarthy era, the person who wielded just as much power as the President of the United States and overstepped his boundaries numerous times to obtain illegally information on people to blackmail them, who recruited top echelon rats in different criminal organizations or groups of people who they declared criminal organizations. But if you look at the DOJ Mafia, there's no difference between crime and the Department of Justice because it's just us. That's what that stands for. When you can assassinate people, have people kidnapped, have people beat up, go in and take items from their home via the use of COINTELPRO, which was deemed unconstitutional by a D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals, but reinstituted by Barack Hussein Obama in the Federal Bureau of Prisons under the FBI SIA program, who recruited rats and compromised people to become rats for the government. During the Nazi era, the Jews would call them capos. These were the Jewish people that would rat on their own just to get out of going to Auschwitz. This is what Steve Fulop did, the mayor of Jersey City. He allied himself with Barack Hussein Obama and the Black Lives Matter movement. The same movement that murdered and slaughtered 5 Hasidic Jewish business people and Detective Seal from the Jersey City Police Department, who was in the course of his duty trying to protect them, but lost his life by doing such. It is sad, but it is true that you, in the inner sanctum of every great organization, you have a festering amoeba dysentery. But Donald Trump, we commend him for getting rid of the amoeba dysentery from the Department of Justice, Assistant United States Attorney Comey, James Comey's daughter, who was the former head of the FBI and worked under several areas in the U.S. Department of Justice, destroying and targeting Italian Americans, Asians, and other ethnic groups, just like Christopher Christie did, just like Michael Chertoff did, just like Rudolph Giuliani, who isn't an Italian, ladies and gentlemen. He's an Albanian. His heritage is Albanian. And unfortunately, you see a lot of Albanians today that have become an amoeba and are working for the government, like a person by the name of Diamond, who is a federal informant in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. Johnny A. Light, who hits you with that wing of the Phoenix. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at him and you look at Diamond and a few others, a person by the name of the Dijanasevic, who was recruited by Judge Carol Bagley Amon when she was in the DEA area in Tampa. So again, ladies and gentlemen, there's a deep-rooted amoeba dysentery within the Department of Justice that Donald Trump, Kash Patel, and our Attorney General Pam Bondi are slowly issuing and administering antibiotics. And that antibiotic, ladies and gentlemen, is a pink slip. It's the boot. It's the boot. Giving them the boot is the best medicine in the public because it exposes their racist agenda, their anti-Christian agenda, and their violation of human rights, violation of standing court orders. When the United States Courts of Appeal issues an order, whether you're a citizen of the United States, a corporation, an attorney, or even a district court judge, you must abide by such. And the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals deemed operations under COINTELPRO and Project M, which they call it today, which its predecessor was called MK Ultra. And they deemed that unconstitutional, and they deemed it to target a U.S. citizen on U.S. soil is unconstitutional. And that can be seen in Hobson versus Wilson, 737 Fed Second, pages 1 through 15, D.C. Circuit in 1987. And the landmark opinion and decision in Lamone versus U.S. Department of Justice, 336 Fed Subsecond, 447, District of Massachusetts, 2004. It is a travesty and a tragedy that people have to die in prison for something they did not do. It's a tragedy when people are targeted and their ethnic and religious backgrounds are denied to have children because of such actions in unison and concert under the guise of a leader of a country, and that country's leader named is Barack Hussein Obama and Joseph Biden. Physical proof is present, and this morning a FOIA request was transmitted to Washington, D.C. to see who is hacking into the phones of Kevin Rizzoli, the founder of U.S. Constitution Protects All Lives Matter. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, Josephine Napolitano, the former DEA head, became the CEO of Motorola. These are the phones that he has. Now, you cannot tell me argument cannot be made that she compromised the access codes to those individual cell phones and their electronic devices. There should be an investigation convened because they were illegally hacking into legal documents, destroying them, and removing them from the files of U.S. Constitution Protects All Lives Matter Incorporated CEO. That is illegal, and the Title III warrant was requested, as well as a host of other things. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening on that issue, because it is an important issue that impacts you and every citizen of the United States of America. It impacts the application of the U.S. Constitution, and it impacts the ability of the President of the United States of America, because these actions that were undertaken by rogue agents in violation of a D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals order issued in 1987 was authorized and commenced under the Barack Hussein Obama Biden administrations. Therefore, they were in violation of court orders from a circuit court that was long-standing. They intentionally, willfully, and knowingly, in unison and concert with one another, allowed and authorized the attack and application of programs deemed unconstitutional by a circuit court of appeals in violation of law under the RICO Act, 18 U.S.C. 1961 through 64 C and D, and 18 U.S.C. 2510 through 2518, the requirements of a Title III warrant, 5 U.S.C. 552A G1C G4 E5, the FOIA Act, the act that allows an open government. But these people chose to willfully and knowingly falsify documents, and such that it caused slavery under the Obama administration. It caused Italian Americans to be arbitrarily and capriciously resentenced without the Seventh Amendment application, without due process of law, by the BOP director and his subordinates, fixing the records of Italian Americans in their charge in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's not a hypothetical, it's not conclusional, and it's not delusional. It's factual. And it was in the newspaper once and once only, and that was it. Because the fake news media don't want to highlight that, don't want to give Donald Trump a thumbs up, but they want to give him a thumbs down every chance they get. Well, thumbs up, Mr. President and Vice President and Pam Bondi. Thumbs up, Kash Patel. Now the next level is to take these people out of office and take them before the UN tribunals. This way nobody could say they didn't get a fair trial. And when such guilty verdict comes down, Articles 2 through 9, that application of law must apply. And that such must be done in public. And it should be done in Staten Island, New York, where Kevin Rizzoli resides and let the people see from Black Lives Matter movement how just the United States of America is to racism. Thank you very much. God bless you. And on that note, have a beautiful and wonderful day.